Learn languages with Javi Fontalva, the place where you can learn a language. Enjoy the video. Hi everybody, hola a todos. In today's video we'll talk about the 4 main tenses in the Spanish language. Those are present indicative, present subjunctive, past indicative, and past subjunctive. Okay, with these 4 tenses you can say 60% of what you need in Spanish. Okay, in today's video I'm going to teach you how to learn these 4 tenses in a very easy and fast way. Today's video is going to be about regular form verbs. Don't worry too much about irregular verbs for the time being if you're a beginner, because irregular verbs are also based on regular verbs. So I'm gonna start teaching present indicative conjugation. I'll talk about that later. Then how you can go from indicative to subjunctive, and later at the end of the video I'll talk about past indicative and how to change from past indicative into past subjunctive, and also I'll talk a little bit when we use indicative as subjunctive in main clauses, secondary clauses, and so on. Don't worry too much. Let me erase this and I'll start teaching present indicative. Alright, first of all, in Spanish we've got 3 kinds of verbs. Those whose infinitive end in AR, okay, is that clear? Yes, AR, ER, and IR. So we call them first conjugation, second conjugation, and a third conjugation. So remember, in case you don't know what infinitive is the form of the verb without a person or a tense or anything. It's like the base of the verb, okay? Let me give you some example. For example, cantar, to sing. Beber, to drink. Vivir, to live. So basically, any verb with the AR ending is going to follow this model I'm going to show you in a moment. Any verb with ER is going to be following the model I'm going to write here, and the same with the IR verb. So start with this. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to drop the AR ending and you're going to add the following: O, as, a, amos, ais, an. So cantar becomes canto, cantas, canta, cantamos, cantáis, canta. What is this? This is to sing, right? I sing, you, one person, sing. He, she sings. We sing. You, plural, sing. they sing. Easy. We can try any other verb with the AR ending. Let's say let's dance, shall we? So bailar. So we're gonna remove this. There you are. The same. You're gonna drop this. I'm gonna type it in ring. So bailo, bailas, baila, bailamos, bailáis, bailan. And this is gonna work for every verb ending in AR. What you're gonna see sometime is that sometimes there is something changing in the middle as well. Those are what we call irregular verbs. But don't worry, because you're always gonna have this ending. Okay? So this is for every verb, both regular and irregular. But what happens with the regulars, you're gonna have an extra change. I'll talk more about that in a future video. Okay, I'm gonna erase this. Now I have to drink, beber. It's the same. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna add something similar to this. Not quite the same, it's a little bit different. So, O, same. S, now before was as, so you still have this S, okay? You just change the vowel. Now it's going to be different vowel. Hemos, MOS, this is still the same. AMOS, now it's going to be EMOS. EIS, now before AIS, yes? And finally, so you see, some things stay the same. For example, this S, this MOS is the same, the N is the same. You're just basically gonna change the first vowel. And remember this one, I can tell you. So for every verb, whenever you want to say I plus verb in the present simple, you just remove the two letters on the end. That's basically AR, ER, or IR. And you're gonna add an O. Any verb, basically. There are a few exceptions, but not too many. So for this, it's gonna be beber, to drink. Bebo, bebes, bebe, bebemos, bebéis, beben. Let's take another verb. Comer. It's gonna be the same. Let me erase this. The same. To eat. Como, comes, come, comemos, coméis, comen. So comer goes to como, I eat. Comes, you eat. Come, he, she eats. Comemos, we eat. Coméis, you plural eat. Comen, they eat. Simple. And the good thing about this is that you don't need to say I, you, he all the time. So in Spanish, you can basically drop yo, tú, él, ella, nosotros. You don't really need those in Spanish. We tend to drop them. Now let's talk about the last one. These two are very, very similar. Basically the same. They're gonna be, there are a few changes you're gonna see. So vivir, to live, vivo, same, vives is the same, vive, the same. Now there's gonna be a little change. Now we don't gonna say vivemos, no, we're gonna say vivimos. All right, and here we have another change. So not vivéis, no, vivis. Very important, the stress, okay? This means stress there, okay? And this is gonna be the same. So basically, let's recap. O, as, a, amos, ais, an. Okay. So here you're gonna have this a. So this is a verb based on this vowel. And these two, you could say they're based on this vowel, except for these two exceptions. Okay. Remember, every time you say you, one person, you're gonna have this s. Every time you say we, mos, and every time you say you guys, you're gonna have is at least. And every time you say they, you're gonna have an n. Okay, very easy, yeah? So you can take any verb and do this, basically. Okay? Yes, it's true, there are irregular verbs. I'll talk about that in future video. Now we're going to talk about present subjunctive. So first of all, what is present subjunctive? Maybe you heard of it before. So basically in Spanish, when you have a secondary clause, that means a sentence under another sentence, the verb is going to be a little bit different. In sentences like, I want you to go, I would like you to come. In those kind of sentences, the second part of the sentence is going to be subjunctive. There are some other examples of subjunctive, but they are the most common one. So let me teach you how to change this. So remember, this is indicative. Now let's talk about subjunctive. Very simple. So subjunctive is gonna be the same as this, but you're gonna swap them. So when you have an A, you're gonna have an E, and when you have the E, you're gonna have an A. So it's gonna be the other way around. Just gonna leave this. So bailo becomes baile. This also go. So this is gonna be an E. Now bailes, baile, bailemos, baileis, bailen. So for example, I want you to dance. Quiero que bailes. Now for these two, it's gonna be an A. Okay, so we swapped. Yeah? When you had before an A, now you have an E, and when you have a E or even an I, you're gonna have an A. So this is gonna be coma, comas, coma, comamos, comáis, coman. Viva, vivas, viva, vivamos, viváis, viva. Not that difficult, right? And yes, you're right. For a regular verb, it's a little bit more difficult. But don't worry, they are based on this as well. I'll talk more about regular verbs in future video. Okay, enough of the present. Now let's talk about the past. Okay, now let's talk about the past. Let me type it here. So I'm gonna do like before. I'm gonna start with the indicative mood. Remember, indicative means let's talk about real things, and subjunctive means based on another sentence, or it's under another sentence. Don't worry too much. Let's talk about the past. So now it's gonna be quite different. So before was bailo, I dance. Baila, I may dance. So she wants me to dance would be ella quiere que baile. So bailo, baile. In the past, it's gonna be different. Baile, with a stress. Bailaste. Bailo, with a stress. Very important this. Bailo, bailó. Yes? It's the same as the present. Amos, bailamos. So bailamos means both we danced, present, or we danced, past. Asteis, bailasteis, you guys danced. Bailaron. And yes, you can do this with any AR verb. Let's say sing, cantar. Canté, cantaste, cantó, cantamos, cantasteis. Stress there. Cantaron. All the same. So I sang, you sang. Right? Comer. It's gonna be a little different. Comí. I ate. I eat present. Como. I ate. Comí. Viste. Comiste. You ate. Yo. Comió. He ate. She ate. Imos. Comimos. Isteis. Comisteis. Vieron. Comieron. And yes, you can do this with another verb. Let's say drink. Bebí, I drank. Bebiste, you drank. Bebió, she, he drank. Bebimos, we drank. Bebisteis, you guys drank. You guys drank. Bebieron, they drank. Let's try with this one. Yes, they're exactly the same. No difference whatsoever. Now, there are some parts here between these two and this one that they're identical. So this st for you in the past, the MOS is always we, stays, you guys in the past, and the RON, they in the past. They're identical. And yes, in this tense, there are many irregular verbs. Okay, I'll talk more about that in the future. Now, very easy. What I'm going to explain now, well, it's not easy actually. So now I'm going to talk about past subjunctive. I'm going to type it here. Subjunctive. When are you going to use this particular tense? Basically, in secondary clause, when the first clause is not a present tense verb. For example, I wanted you to come. So, querías que vinieras. So how do you form this particular tense? So you're gonna take this one. So for example, you're gonna take the last one, okay? The they form. And you're gonna remove on, and then we're gonna add the following. So I'm gonna click here. Okay. All right, let me explain this one to you. So you're gonna have your past indicative, okay? And you're gonna take the last word, okay? The they form of any verb, okay? Both regular and irregular. You're gonna remove RON or even ARON. So basically, you're gonna remove this, and you're gonna add the following. So for example, bailaron becomes bailara, bailaras, bailara, bailáramos, bailarais, bailaran. There is another form, but this is particularly easy, I think. Let's talk about another verb. Let's try a ER verb. So for example, they drank. So bebieron. Right? So remove the bebieron becomes biera. So bebiera, bebieras, bebiera, bebiéramos, bebierais, bebiera. The lift in the past, vivieron. Viviera, vivieras, viviera, viviéramos, vivierais, viviera. Okay. Now we're going to do some exercises practicing this. I hope this helped you. Muy bien, aquí estamos haciendo un ejercicio de verbos. Vamos a empezar con verbos en presente indicativo. So I said we're going to start doing present indicative verbs. So you have the verb between brackets, and next to the verb you got the pronoun. So let's start with the first one. Let me zoom in a little bit. There you are. So no gap ir al cine. So you have here poder. Poder means to be able. And you need to use nosotros, which is we. So remember, we drop ER. What do we add? Yes, hemos. So that becomes no podemos ir al cine. You see, it's not that difficult. Number 2. By the way, that means we can't go to the cinema, or we can't go to the movie theater. Okay. Number 2. ¿Por qué no me... La verdad. So what do you tell me the truth? So you have verb decir. Okay. You will have this if it were a regular verb, but remember what I told you. With the regular verbs, you're gonna change something else. So in this case, this becomes dices, because it's an irregular verb, okay? I'll talk more about that in the future, okay? 3. I walk very slowly because I'm tired. Yes, easy. Camino. Number 4. My sister works in a bank. Yeah. Trabaja. Mi esposa y yo. My wife and I. And of course, this is gonna be we, because my wife and I is the same as we. So, vivimos en Dallas. 6. José y Pablo no. So, tener miedo means to be afraid, literally to have fear. I'll talk about that in the future as well. There are a few expressions where in Spanish you're going to use a different verb. So in this case, tienen. Yeah, I know. So another irregular one. So you see what I told you? With irregular verbs, you're going to have an extra change. So this E becomes IE. And before, the E becomes I. I'll talk about that. Don't worry too much. Let's move on. So ahora, so now it's you, tú. Ahora puedes cantar enfrente de todos. So now you can sing in front of everybody. Number 8. Mis perros, my dogs, ladran toda la noche. My dogs bark the whole night. El árbol, yes, crece. I'm talking about tree. So el árbol crece rápidamente con agua. So the tree grows quickly with water. 10. ¿Por qué salen las muchachas? ¿Por qué salen las muchachas? Why are the girls going out? Why are they getting out? Yeah? 11. ¿Por qué siempre lloro? Why do I always cry when I listen to this song? ¿Por qué siempre lloro cuando escucho esta canción? 12. It's gonna be the last one for today. Marco y yo. Alright. Bailamos juntos todos viernes por noche. So Marco and I dance together every Friday at night. Good. We're gonna. Yeah. Okay. Now we've got pretérito indefinido. Before moving on, let me tell you, we use 3 past tenses. I just introduced one of those, which is called indefinido. Remember, this is basically drop the AR, ER, IR, and you add the suffixes I introduced before. So let's do 5 of this, so you can have an idea. And yes, in this particular tense, there are many irregular verbs. So I have to make a few videos about those. So anoche, leí, should you drop ER and you add I, that tilde, yeah, we call it tilde. Leí un libro muy interesante. So last night I read a very interesting book. Anteayer, the day before yesterday, my neighbor, mi vecina, me regaló. Important, stress on the last syllable. Otherwise you're saying regalo, which means something different. Una planta bonita. 3. El otro día compré, I bought un nuevo teléfono. So today I bought a new phone. This should be the other way around. It should be un teléfono nuevo, but it's alright. Ayer comimos una paella sabrosa. So yesterday we ate a very delicious paella. And this one, Juanjo, la semana pasada, last week, recibió una carta muy importante. So Juanjo, last week, received a very important letter. Okay, let's go here. Now we're going to talk about subjunctive now. Let me zoom in. There you are. So remember what I told you about subjunctive. They are used in secondary clause or clause that are depending on other clause. Okay, so usually you're gonna have a verb in the present simple, okay, present indicativo, and then you're usually gonna have this que, yeah. You can see it in some other circumstances, but this is by far the most common one. So remember, present subjunctive, as far as conjugation is concerned, means whenever you have an A, now you're gonna have an E, and the other way around. Let me give you some example. So I'll type the indicative and then the subjunctive, so you can see the change. So me pongo nervioso que me. So mira. I'm talking about that, sorry. Miran. Miren. So miren is a subjunctive, yeah? Me pone contenta que agradezcan. So this is another regular verb. Let me agradece. Agradezcan. Okay, when it's a regular verbs, it's gonna take the first person of the conjugation. And agradecer, you say I thank you, I thank, you say agradezco. So I'm gonna take this particular word to do the subjunctive when it's a regular verb. Okay, don't worry too much. I have to talk about that. No me importa que mi marido. Okay, so this is actually wrong. So tiene, this is he has, and subjunctive is tenga. Why? Again, because I have is tengo. I have to talk about this, don't worry. Me fastidia que. So there are, subjunctive, haya. So me fastidia que haya tanta suciedad en las calles. And if I, me alegro de que te diviertes. So this is another regular one. Te diviertas, subjunctive. Okay, I hope you can get the idea. Let me give you an example of subjunctive, the past. So ella deseó, so she wished que yo viniera. So vinieron. I'm just gonna take this one. And this becomes this. Okay, that's be everything for today. If you're still confused, don't worry, I'll talk more about this into more details. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to give me a thumb up, it's gonna help me a lot. And also share the video if you find this useful. Bye.